So you're about to come to Europe as international student, as a worker, as expat, or any other type of immigrant, and you don't know where to start looking for accommodation. This video is for you. Just to give a quick background about myself. I've lived in 3 countries in Europe. One, in Netherlands, a city called Enschede, when I was doing my master's degree. So I lived there for 2 years. I've lived in UK as an international research visitor in the city of Sheffield. And I've lived in Italy in 4 cities. I've lived in Turin, I've lived in L'Aquila, I've lived in Bologna, and now currently I'm living in Naples. So with my experience living in different cities in Europe, I can give you some tips on how you can find accommodation. First of all, I will just want to prepare you psychologically. Finding accommodation in Europe, and specifically as international student, because you know, for student you are looking for affordable accommodation, for accommodation that is going to save you some money and is more affordable, is more accessible, because most of time students don't have a car, so you have to use public transport. So those are some of the things that I want to tell you what to do, where to check, and also things to avoid when you're looking for accommodation. The first session, I'm going to tell you things to avoid when looking for accommodation. The second session, I'm going to give you some jargon to check when you're looking for accommodation and what it means. And the third section, I'm going to tell you specifically now for Italy, which websites and which sites are better when you're looking for accommodation. Watch till the end of this video, because there will be a gift that is going to help you if you're coming to Italy specifically. For those who are going to other countries, maybe this is not for you, but if you're specifically coming to Italy, I'm going to give you a very good gift that you'll not find any other place. So let's go to the first session about things to avoid when looking for accommodation. This one applies across Europe. Unless you're looking to buy a house, if you're looking for a rental property for residential as a student, as expat, it's better to look for this accommodation by yourself and avoid agencies. So number one, avoid agency if it is possible. If you have money, it's okay, you can go through agency, because the thing is, when you go through agency, you have to pay 1 month rent to them. They ask you to pay 1 month or 2 months equivalent of the rent that you will be paying in that property that they have helped you find. So if you have that kind of money, that's okay, but the best way is avoid agencies. Number 2, avoid an official listing. An official listing are this type of listing whereby they tell you, oh, inbox me, and you know, like, which are like backdoor, I would say backdoor kind of listing, backdoor kind of accommodation advertisement is better to avoid. If they are posting in official maybe website or they are posting in official Facebook pages, that's good position to check, but still make sure this is a legit person. Number 3, if you're moving abroad, and especially for Africans, because in Africa, in the cities, people just rent houses with good faith contract, or you know, that contract of talking by mouth, and you say, oh, pay me this amount of money, pay me this amount of money. No, when you're in Europe, and especially if you're a migrant, it's better never ever take accommodation without a contract. And the reason why you need to get accommodation with a contract, because once you get here, you have to apply for long-term resident permit for 1 year, or if you're living here more than 3 months. So your resident permit is tied to the address of that building. So if someone is renting you their property, or they are renting you their room, and they are telling you, we don't give contract, run away, because that is illegal subletting, and it means you cannot use the address, and that address is tied to everything. It's tied to your permit, it's tied to health insurance, everything else is tied to that address of your accommodation. So it's very important to have residential house with official contract. You also need to make sure that contract is registered in Agenzia Entrate. So after you sign the contract with your landlord, or if you go through the agency, for instance, make sure your contract has been registered in Agenzia Entrate. You may need this registration to take to the commune and to register as a resident in that city. Number 4, make sure the accommodation that you're going to rent has heating. Sometimes I know we want to save a lot of money. You may be coming from a tropical country and you think you can survive winter without heating system, but it's not possible. So unless you want to die here of pneumonia, is it pneumonia? Pneumonia and lung diseases, make sure that house or that accommodation that is listed has proper heating system. It can be either centralized system or just localized heating system. It can be gas heating system or electricity heating system. It doesn't matter, but you have to make sure they have proper heating system in that house. Before you take any contract, you need to make sure they have listed to you this 400 euro or this 300 euro is only rent, or it includes electricity bills, water bills, heating bills, condominium, tari is like the waste collection services, and condominium. So make sure they have listed for you what the amount of the rent you are paying, what it includes and what it excludes, and you know all the hidden cost. Number 6, and this is now concerns about quality. Most of the time I've seen people living in a very precarious situations. Old building, moldy building. So you need to make sure before you pay for any, you have seen their property, you have taken photos and you have taken videos. Take photos and videos before you enter that house, and you send to that landlady or that landlord, so that you can use it in future before you leave. Because sometimes they tell you, oh, you have damaged our property and we are not going to refund you your deposit. So you make sure you check all the details of that property and you take photos. If there's any damage, you need to notice it and put it in a photo or in a video for future use. And the last point is that make sure that property is located in a place that is accessible. Ask around or Google. Use Google to ask the neighborhood. Is the neighborhood secure? How is the neighborhood in the evening? Can you go in the evening if you are too late? Can you go by yourself and walk in the streets? And also, is it accessible by bus? Is it accessible by metro if you're in an area that has a metro? Is it accessible by tram if you're in an area that has trams? I would say 5 to 15 minutes of walking distance to access bus stop, tram stop, metro stop. But if it's more than that, avoid those kind of areas. If you're trying to use public transport, you don't have a car, unless you want to arrive here and buy a car. So yeah, make sure that area is accessible. So let's talk about the rental jargon when you're looking for a rental accommodation or a house in Europe. When they talk about single room, they mean you rent this room by yourself. You will be living in that room by yourself, and then you're going to share other spaces. You're going to share maybe a kitchen, you're going to share a bathroom, and you're going to share the living room. So it will be a single room in a shared apartment. Another jargon they use specifically is bed space. They will tell you a bed space in a double room. If they say a bed space in a double room, specifically it means you're going to share this room with another person. It's like you're in a dorm. If you've been in Kenya specifically, for instance, or in Africa, if you used to live to stay in a boarding school, you remember people used to share the same dorm with people. So you might find that room has several beds whereby you are sharing the room. You have your bed and maybe you have a small cabinet to put your things, but you're going to share the room with people, and also you're going to share other services like the toilet, the shower, and the kitchen and the living room. Specifically now, let's talk about in Italy. What are these names in Italiano? In Italy, if they are mentioning single room, they're going to say stanza singola. Stanza singola means a single room that you're going to use by yourself. If they say stanza doppia means a room that has two beds. So it means you will be two people in that room. Stanza doppia. So it's a room but has two beds. If they talk about posto letto is just a bed in a shared big room. So it's just one bed within a big room that is shared maybe by 4 people, 6 people, 8 people. So that you need to understand. If they talk about monolocale is a studio which is like a one big room which has everything. It has a bed, it has a small kitchenette, it has your bathroom, it has a wardrobe, it has everything in that monolocale. Is like a studio, just one big room that has everything. If you're looking for a bigger room, like a one bedroom, you look for a word bilocale. Bilocale is one bedroom, which has a kitchen, a living room, a bedroom, and your bathroom. For the third session, I'm going to talk about specifically now how to find houses. What are the sites that you can use to find accommodation? The first accommodation, which cuts across all cities in Europe, is Facebook pages. If you are on Facebook, specifically for Italy, you're going to put affitto Napoli. Affitto is like one rent Napoli, rent L'Aquila, rent Roma, rent Torino, which in Italiano, instead of saying rent Napoli, rent whatever, you say affitto Napoli, affitto Torino, affitto. Instead of affitto, also you can use affitti. Affitti is the plural for affitto. So instead of using affitto, if you don't find any page that is written that way, you can use affitti. So you can either use affitto, affitti, and you put the city that you are going to in Italy. If you're outside Italy, you use rent or buy apartment, student apartment in whatever city you are going in, and it's going to give you all the pages in that city. And then from that page, you request to join those pages, and you see what people are posting on the current available rooms, current available bed spaces, current available houses. Second way, if you're an international student, you find most of time within the departments that you're going to, most of time they have like a accommodation listing that they have from the landlords around, or you have student bodies that have a list of all accommodation available in the city. So ask from the department, email them and ask them, what are some of the websites can I use to find accommodation in the city that you are going to, and they are going to direct you the right way. What are other websites that you can use? You can use a website called idealista.it. You can use another site called immobiliare.it. You can filter by your budget. You can filter by if you want ground floor or you want first floor or whatever. You can filter by, do you want it a monolocale, or do you want your own room, or do you want a shared room, a bed space? All this you can filter from that. You can use casa.it, another website. We have another website called subito.it. Most of the time you need to provide proof of accommodation before you even get your visa to come to Europe or to come to Italy or to go wherever you're going. The best way to navigate this situation, you just need to go to Airbnb or booking.com. You book accommodation for either 2 weeks or 1 month for the time that you are arriving. So you book, maybe let's say you are coming on 15th of September. You book for 15th of September to 15th of October, and you indicate in the application of your visa, state that once you arrive in the city that you're going to look for a long-term accommodation. And that one will enable you to, as a proof of accommodation of where you are going. You can also ask in your university what kind of proof of accommodation you're gonna provide. Sometimes they help you with giving you a certification. Sometimes if you're coming through scholarship, they host you for 1 year, and then after the 1 year you look for your own accommodation. So you need to ask the university that you're going to if you're coming to a university as an international student. I want to let you know that I've written an ebook that is providing the whole process of once you arrive in Italy, what is the procedure to follow from application of resident permit, from application of residenza, carta di identità, what office to go to, what you need to do, accommodation, everything, like how to navigate coming to Italy and how to settle if you have a plan of living here long term. I usually sell it for 15 euros, but today, because I'm very generous today, I'm going to put it for 7.99 €, and you can grab it, you can share it with your friend, and this is only for those who are going to watch this video till the end. If you have any question concerning accommodation and you want me to give you some guidelines or to make another video, write in the comment section below and I'm going to make a video and answer that question. Bye bye. See you in the next one.